Hi, my name is Cliff. And on Facebook this morning, there was a piece about finding happiness through gratitude done by Upworthy.com. It was on Facebook. And so I was inspired to discuss the one person in my life who has been an incredible inspiration to me, an amazing support network for me. This is my sister Laurene. She's 2 years younger than me. Laurene is a person who is so independent, fiercely loyal, probably the most resourceful woman I've ever met in my life. She raised 2 children by herself, beautiful, well-adjusted, successful children who are now in their late 20s. I think my nephew actually is 30. And I've had a lot of difficulties in my life, a lot. A lot of it was self-imposed, a lot of it was just things that life experiences that just sort of happened. My sister Laurene has never given up on me. I have there's 7 siblings altogether. I'm one of 7. Laurene's 2 years younger than me. We are as close could be. We weren't always that way. When we were kids, we fought like cats and dogs, to the point where my mother actually made us share a room for 6 months because we just couldn't get along. And after that, of course, we had something mutually in common. We both hated my mother, at that point anyway. I'm grateful that my mother did that because it turned our relationship around. We fought about the stupidest things, Laurene and I, but after that experience, we definitely became closer. Anyway, I struggled with my sexuality as a younger person, and my sister supported me with that. She just encouraged me to be who I was, to be the strong person that I could be, to embrace my sexuality, and to not worry about what other people thought. Obviously, we weren't created this way by chance, and so she encouraged me to be gay and to be comfortable in my skin. Throughout my whole life, I don't want to get into a whole long thing about what's gone on in my life, but I do want to discuss a few key points in my life that were amazing, that she stood by me. I got into a bad relationship in my earlier 20s with a gentleman who was abusive and an alcoholic. And it was a bad situation. It was escalating out of control, and she encouraged me to leave that relationship. And on her tutelage and guidance, I actually did. And I found another relationship several years later with the man that I spent 26 years with. Laurene loved him, and Laurene and I, and Tom would hang out together a lot, and she was raising her kids by herself, and we did as much as we could to help her, in any way, financially, emotionally, babysitting her kids when she had to work like crazy hours. Anyway, she really, she just, whatever she did, she just excelled at. She was an amazing mom and an amazing person. She tried dabbling with her own construction business, painting business. She eventually went into become EMT and a firefighter. From there, she went on to become a law enforcement officer. And today, she is actually a sergeant in that police department, and I'm so proud of her. She's worked really hard in all these male-dominated roles that she's taken on in her life. As a heterosexual woman, she's pretty tough, and I wouldn't mess with her in a bright alley, let alone a dark alley. But what I'm trying to get at is that my sister Laurene has leadership qualities that are just innate in her, and she has a kindness about her that she's so effective in her job as a police officer and as a sergeant because of her leadership skills and because of the way she is with people. She's genuine, she's sincere, and she wants to help, and she wants to make a better world for this entire community of people. She has given me so much strength and so much hope. When years into my relationship with Tom, we discovered that we were both alcoholics and addicts ourselves, and that we had gotten to a point in our lives where we were spiraling out of control. We decided to stop drinking and drugging, and we both went into rehabs and detox and basically got clean and sober, and that was 8 years ago. Laurene and my mom were like the biggest supporters I could have ever asked for. on every turn of difficulty and moments where I just didn't think I could do this anymore. I couldn't stay sober. I couldn't stay clean. She supported me. She called me and she'd say things like, "You're a better person because of this now. You're healthier. You're stronger. You can do this." You know, no matter what it was that I was going through, no matter what difficulties were happening, no matter what life was thrown in my path, as a sober person, she stood by me, and my mom did too. I lost my dad to cancer the first year I was sober, and then the second year I was sober, my mom was diagnosed with cancer. My mother is one of my best friends. I mean, we were so tight, and especially later in life, as a youngster, of course, she was raising 7 kids, and we weren't as tight then, but I respected her, and I did whatever she asked me to do because I was terrified of her, but in a good way. And it was later in life that my mother, who had embraced my sexuality as well, and was basically very supportive of me and Tom getting clean and sober. My sister and I both took care of her in the year and a half that she went through her treatments and what have you. And my sister and I bonded even more than I thought ever possible, because we had this one thing in common, that we were both trying to make my mom's end of life comfortable. And Tom was part of that process as well, which really makes me very proud, because my husband was so amazing as a person. He had the same gifts that Laurene did. He was just incredibly genuine and sincere and compassionate towards other people. He would always put other people ahead of himself, as does my sister Laurene. So after a period of time, last November, I lost my husband to cancer. And as difficult as that has been, probably the most difficult thing I've ever experienced in my life, and I don't think I'll ever have anything more traumatic happen in my life. Tom and I were the best of friends, and I loved him unconditionally, and I know he loved me unconditionally. But my sister Laurene swept in here. She swooped in, I don't know what the expression is, she swooped in, and she took control. I was in shock. I knew he was dying, but I still wasn't prepared for the day that he died. And she came in and she took over things for me, and she gave me directions. She told me, when to eat, when to go to sleep, when to go to the bathroom. I couldn't think for myself. She took on a role that I would never be able to repay her for. She got me through the most difficult month. She came with me to make arrangements at the funeral home with my sister-in-laws. She took the leadership role again, and she basically walked us through the process that she had done for my mom, because I wasn't able to be there. So I had no idea what I was doing. She did that for me. And in the 10 months since Tom has passed, this girl, she calls me constantly to check in on me, to see if I'm okay. Do I want to talk? And when I do, and sometimes I don't even know I want to talk until she'll call, she'll listen so intently. And she's one of these people who has such wisdom. She's an old soul. And she has such wisdom and such kindness and such a way about expressing to me that what I'm feeling is normal and what I'm going through is normal, and that I'm going to get through it. And I don't have to pick up or drink or drug because I've had such adversity in my life, such difficult times. She encouraged me to continue to be the best person I could be. I can't thank her enough for always being there, always being so strong for me when she's got so much going on in her own life, yet she takes the time to make sure that I'm okay. Most days I am. There's a lot of difficult days that I just don't know whether I can just carry on without him. It's just my whole life has changed, and I don't know what direction I'm going in some days. I feel like I'm half a person sometimes, because you become one person sometimes when you're in a long-term relationship like this. And she's been my rock. She inspires me on every level. I don't always make the best choices in my life. Even though I'm not drinking and drugging, I still have some issues with other addictions like gambling and eating doing too much. But she encourages me and she tells me that I should not beat myself up for these things, that this is just part for the course. I'm going through a very difficult period in my life. Of course I'm going to mess up, and that's okay. She's not a person who admonishes you or tells you that you're a bad person because you've made bad choices. She has made bad choices in her life when she was younger, especially. And you know what? She embraced those bad choices, and good things came out of it. And this is the thing about my sister. There's a silver lining behind everything that goes on in life. And in her book, the way she looks at life inspires me to look at life very similarly, which is there is difficult things that go on in life. You can't have peaches and cream all the time. Life would be boring. Unfortunately, the bad things that do happen in life happen. And when they do, it's the strength you have within that pulls you through that and gets you to another point, another dimension of self-esteem and self-awareness, and also the awareness of the people, your community around you, and the people and the family and the friends that are so close. I admire a lot of people in my life. I couldn't even count on, if I had 15 hands, all the people in my life that have inspired me and have been role models to me and for me. My mom included. And other than my sister Laurene, she's like the next one on the list. And I have siblings who I adore. I love all my siblings and my nieces and nephews and then their kids. But what inspires me about my sister Laurene is her ability and that uncanny knack to call me always or invite me over when she doesn't even realize that I'm struggling that day. That's the day she'll call. It's like she has this, it's like we're twins or something. She just calls me and says, hey, just been thinking about you today. How you feeling? What's going on with you? Are you okay today? Is there anything I can do for you? It doesn't matter what the things that she says, really. I mean, it matters to me, but it really doesn't matter to you. But what is interesting about my sister's overall life outlook is that it's infectious. She makes me a better person. She holds me accountable for my actions. Not a whole lot of people in the world do that with each other. At least not on a positive side. People will hold you accountable on a negative and to point out all your flaws. My sister does not do that. My sister points out your attributes. She makes sure that you're aware of your attributes. She makes sure that you understand that you are a person of good worth and love and dignity and respect. I am a better person because of my sister Laurene. I can't thank you enough. Honestly, I cannot thank her. I mean, she trusts me. Something she didn't always do because of my career in drinking and drugging. I wasn't always hanging around with the most savory characters. I wasn't always the most savory character myself. But I didn't break the law per se, and I didn't ever get arrested for any of my behaviors, but I certainly got myself into enough trouble where, my life was spiraling out of control, as well as my husband Tom's. And I'll tell you, I admired my husband as well, and obviously he was an inspiration to me too, and we had a really good thing, and I'm very blessed, really blessed. But I'm still blessed because I had something so unique and so wonderful with a man that I just absolutely adored. And he was my best friend. We laughed every day, and every day he told me I was beautiful and that I was his best friend, and that he just couldn't wait for me to get home from work or whatever. But it's my sister who keeps that going. It's my sister Laurene who keeps me sane and keeps me grounded. I just thought that if I put this out there and let her know, like, unconditionally how much I love her and what she does for me on a daily basis, just knowing that she's there. There's no words that can describe that. I love the fact that she has a wonderful life and a wonderful husband, her second marriage, just the nicest guy in the world. And they have unconditional love like Tom and I did. And he adores her children, and they adore him. She has a job that she is just so revered at and so well respected. And the students, she works at a college university, at a college police department, and the students, they respect her and admire her because of the kind of person that she is. This sister of mine is not only gorgeous, beautiful inside, beautiful on the outside, but she is a person who spreads herself way too thin. But somehow or another, she's able to handle that. She manages her time very well, better than anybody I've ever met in my life. And I love her. And I'm just so grateful for her. And I know that my path to whatever happiness is there for me, it's for me to take, it's for me to go after. It doesn't present itself, it doesn't fall in your lap. You have to strive at happiness. And the Upworthy.com thing that I saw this morning on Facebook inspired me to do this because I am not happy right now. I want to be happy, but I'm sad. I'm grieving, and I'm going through a process that I am not familiar with. I've never lost anybody to this level. You're supposed to bury your parents. You're not supposed to bury your husband at 52 years old. And I planned on spending my whole life with this man and growing old with him. That wasn't in the cards for us. But I'm really lucky that I got 26 years with him. He was a beautiful, wonderful, loving soul. And my sister saw that. And she reminds me every day, when we talk especially, that was pretty unique. And if it weren't for her reminding me constantly of how lucky I was and how lucky I still am, that I'm the person I am today, not just because of her, but because of him, and because of other people in my life, and also all my life experiences that have taught me a lesson. And that's the bottom line for my sister. This is, you can sum her up in a nutshell. You don't need to regret your past. You don't need to regret your flaws. You don't need to regret your mistakes or your shortcomings. You need to embrace all of that. Because without all of those things, all of those failures, all those setbacks, all those things that have made life difficult or a challenge, have made you, me, whoever goes through those difficult times and difficult things and bad choices, etc., the person you are today. You're a kind, loving soul. You know what? It comes out. It shows itself. It presents itself in ways that you don't even notice sometimes. I recognize sometimes when I get home at the end of the day that I'm a good person. Didn't do anything remarkable or special, but I know that I held the door for somebody with a carriage. I know that I pressed the walk button for a little old lady who couldn't reach it or just didn't notice that it was there. I dropped some pennies into the little bucket next to the cash register at a store because I thought maybe somebody else could use some change. They're just things that I do naturally. It's just the person I was raised to be. But it's also, it shows integrity. It shows that in my heart of hearts, I care about other people. And I'm learning to put myself first right now because I need to. And I need to focus on my happiness. I need to focus on my joy. I'm not finding it yet. It'll happen when it's supposed to happen. But I know that when I put my head on the pillow at the end of the day, I'm loved, I'm cared about, I'm loving, and I'm capable of caring and being compassionate towards others. Taking care of my husband until his dying day and having him die in my arms, it was a gift. It was a gift that I did not realize was a gift until recent. It's amazing when you feel in your heart that it's full, and when you lose that love, or when you lose that person, and you feel that love swelling in your heart, and you're aching every day and every minute of every day because of that loss. It's sort of like a bittersweet thing, because part of you has to recognize that there's such a wonderfulness about that, but also that it's gone. means that whatever your future is, you've already paved the way with goodness, and you've already paved your way with an open mind. You have capacity, huge capacity for loving someone else or many other people. I mean, my family is like the most important thing in the world to me, and I know I love them unconditionally. And I know that they love me unconditionally. But again, we're getting back to my sister again, because honestly, this is about her. I want her to know that if it weren't for her guidance and it weren't for her patience and her understanding and her kindness and the love that she shows me, I don't know if I would be here today. I don't know if I would have picked up a drink or a drug. I don't know if I would have committed suicide because I couldn't handle the pain. I don't know that. I know that I didn't even go there. I know that I did not go there. My head did not go in those places because I had her love and her support and her guidance. I'll tell you, there aren't a whole lot of people in the world who would put themselves out that much for anybody else. She is one of those people. And I'm telling you right now, I know I'm not the first, and I'm totally not going to be the last. She is incredible.